Trigger warning, this video will contain artwork and themes of self-harm, gore, cannibalism, and I mention necrozoophilia. So, yeah, watch with caution. You guys are about to see why I don't use scripts. Also, don't mind my gross voice. I really couldn't wait to make this video, but it's mostly healed up, but my voice is still kind of gross, so, yeah, don't mind that. Hello, 'tis I. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a little while. Since my old video on this subject is a bit bad and doesn't really get my point across well, this is a remake of that video. And no, this is not being made because of the backlash towards my Is It Cold Outside animation. Actually, I was planning on making this video before that, but that's kind of what made me wanna make it more, I guess. Now, we've all probably heard of dramas revolving people like Dramalgia, Juicy Zone, and, me. What do all three of these dramas have in common? The romanticization, or even sexualization, of dark themes. Usually self-harm, honestly. Now, the argument usually made is that art with dark themes that are otherwise cutesy or portrayed in a manner that makes the subject look less gross than it really is in reality is romanticization, and therefore it's bad and does not have the right to exist. And then they'll use that opinion and interpretation to basically shit on the artist and claim that the artist has pro self-harm views when they don't, you know? We all know what happens. That is essentially the argument you see with these kinds of dramas. And it makes sense. Romanticization is harmful, right? Want to hear a little secret, guys? Romanticization isn't actually a harmful thing on its own. You want to know why? Well, that's what this video is about, so watch it. To help you understand what I have to say better, we have to actually look at the definition of the word romanticize. Romanticize, verb, deal with or describe in an idealized or unrealistic fashion. Make something seem better or more appealing than it really is. This definition is extremely vague, and unfortunately for the people spreading this romanticization is bad argument, doesn't seem to support what they think the definition is. Now, obviously, in this context, the word describe would mean describe in a visual form, you know, visual art. And notice how it says idealized or unrealistic. Let's look at the definition of idealized now, shall we? Idealize, verb, regard or represent as perfect or better than in reality. Better than reality, you say? And the definition of romanticization says better or more appealing than it really is. Than it really is. Reality. You'll see where I'm going with this in a second and why this is specifically so important to note. If you've seen my last video on the subject, you probably know where I'm going with this. Now, let's say we have a picture of, let's say something disgusting like someone ripping their own organs out. And when I mean a picture, I mean a real-life picture somebody took. Now, let's say an artist, let's say a fancy oil painter, makes a semi-realistic painting of the same thing. Now, objectively, they both have the same subject matter. They're both depicting a specific dangerous, gross, and stomach-turning action. But which one would you rather look at? Which one would you be able to stomach more, even if you're somebody who's genuinely grossed out by gore in a fictional and in a real setting? That's right, the oil painting. And if I see any comments under this video saying, well, I'm desensitized to gore, I don't care, that's not the point, that doesn't disprove what I'm saying. We're talking about, like, the average population here. We aren't talking about, like, people who are desensitized to gore or people who draw realistic gore artwork. I'm not talking about those people. The semi-realistic oil painting would be more bearable because the style it's drawn in is less realistic and more stylistic than the real photo. Now, let's take that oil painting and compare it to a drawing in a style similar to mine, one with very cartoony proportions. Which one is more bearable now? That's right, the more cartoony one. Now, what does this actually prove? Let's go back to our definition of romanticization. Let's look at the second sentence. Make something seem better or more appealing than it really is. Do you understand what I'm saying now? How appealing the subject matter looks usually depends on how unrealistic the style is. Ripping your own organs out looks a lot more appealing in a cartoony style than it would in a semi-realistic or even hyper-realistic painting. And yes, this does apply even to people who are sensitive to all gore, like any kind of gore in any style. They are still going to be able to stomach the drawing that is the most cartoony than the less cartoony ones or the real photo. That's just a fact. Unless somebody specifically has a trigger for cartoony gore, which if they do, that's just kind of silly. The fancy oil painter was romanticizing the act of ripping out your organs. The cartoonist was romanticizing the act of ripping out your organs. We all romanticize topics in art. Have you ever depicted a dark or serious subject in art? Ever? Well, guess what, artist watching this video? You romanticize that subject. Unless you're like a hyper-realistic artist, but even then, you can still romanticize gore and it also be hyper-realistic. It kind of just depends on, how it's portrayed. So, what do we do now? Do we cancel any artist over the age of 8? No, we accept the fact that the act of romanticization in artwork is inherently neutral and that anyone crying over somebody romanticizing self-harm are being stupid and actually haven't taken the time to pick apart the definition and see how it actually applies to art and the depictions of dark subjects in said art. You can tell I'm very passionate about this subject. By the way, just wanted to let you guys know that the only way that romanticization could really be considered promotion, specifically in artwork, is if somebody was like, oh, you guys should totally self-harm, and like genuinely made an art piece, genuinely telling people they should self-harm, or encouraging the people watching it, looking at it to self-harm. That would be a great example of something that is trying, that is actually promoting the subject of self-harm. But basically every time I've seen people complain about romanticization in artwork, it's never been that. Maybe the closest thing to that would be like the Juicy Zone situation, because she did actually support self-harm, but like they were criticizing her for the art itself and then kind of criticizing the supporting of self-harm, like, away from that, which, they were also criticizing the art itself just existing, which was stupid, but, that's the closest real-life drama equivalent I have. Yeah, so basically, romanticization can become promotion and can therein be harmful, and I do not support the act of promoting self-harm in any way, but that is very rare, and I have not seen a, situation where that's happened other than the Juicy Zone situation, and even then, the people claiming it did not take it, they were so close to getting the idea of what they should have done about the situation, yet they fucking missed the mark, as usual, Cancel culture is gonna be cancel culture. Also, just a quick side note, I've heard people who have talked about how they're okay with, like, regular gore, but are grossed out and triggered specifically at the idea of romanticizing self-harm. Wouldn't that be basically an oxymoron? You're grossed out by something because it's made to not gross you out as much. A lot of people don't like art depicting things like self-harm, suicide, gore, cannibalism, etc., specifically because it may make someone uncomfortable, and that is absolutely fucking bullshit. First of all, trigger warnings exist. Despite what many people believe, if someone has added a trigger warning, the artist has no responsibility over if someone ignores that trigger warning and gets upset. It is not the artist's fault if somebody decides to ignore a trigger warning. That is the person who ignored its fault. Yeah, and I'm talking about you guys. When I say you guys, I mean the people who were fucking saying, you should have put a more severe trigger warning for self-harm. I'm like, dude, like, I'm not talking about the people who missed the trigger warning in my Is It Cold Outside video. I'm not talking about people who missed it or just, like, didn't realize it was there. Still, I think it's a little silly. It was there for 5 seconds in the middle of your screen with brightly colored words. But I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the people who said they saw the trigger warning, but they didn't listen to it and are now blaming me and saying that I should have emphasized that it was a more severe trigger warning. What are you expecting when you see trigger warning, self-harm, and suicide? You expecting fucking cupcakes and rainbows? But oh, if somebody puts severe trigger warning, like, dude, I'm not trying to, like, be an asshole and, like, call people out for shit that was like, you know, that it's just, that's just petty, but like, I just think, like, come on, like, I'm not trying to call anyone out specifically, I'm just trying to say in general, those commenters, there were a couple of them, they just, oh my god, obviously don't fucking attack them or like shit on them, I'm just saying, that is stupid. If you decide to ignore my trigger warning that I put, specifically saying this animation has themes of self-harm and suicide, and you ignore that, you can't complain because the trigger warning wasn't severe enough. You saw the trigger warning, you read it, and you decided to ignore it. That is your fault, my dude. Okay, rant aside, back to the script. Second of all, essentially what romanticization is in art is to make you not as grossed out by a topic, or to portray that topic in a different way from reality that may make it seem less uncomfortable than in reality. By these people's logic, romanticization literally helps people because less people are going to be triggered by it. If you genuinely think that art you or someone else may not personally like doesn't have the right to exist, you're basically the artist equivalent of a Karen. By the way, I'm gonna quickly shout out a video made by PORTRAYED about this topic. It's not really focused on romanticization, but more on the fact that triggering art has the right to exist. She gives out many examples of disturbing, gross, and even art pieces that were physically harmful to the artist, and how that demonstrates that these stupid toddlers are essentially crying over pink self-harm scars, when worse yet more beloved art pieces exist. It gets across what I'm saying beautifully, and I would highly recommend you check her video out. Also, the entertainment value is fucking through the roof. I actually watched that video while I was drawing the speed paints that you see in this video. Also, if you have an interest in art history, you'd definitely enjoy that video. Link is in the description. Now, you may be saying, oh, well, it's not just the art style, it's the way the themes are presented. The blood is pink and the characters are smiling. Well, may I introduce you to a concept called contrast. Contrast, noun, the state of being strikingly different from something else in juxtaposition, I think, maybe?
Juxtaposition.
Or close association. Also, Google, how the fuck would somebody not know what contrast is, but know what the word juxtaposition means, let alone how to pronounce it? Are you kidding me? And then guess what? When you look up the definition for freaking juxtaposition, you get the word contrast, so it's just fucking back and forth. Oh my god, Google, I hate you. Okay, anyway, stupid ass rant aside. You probably know what contrast is when it comes to colors. Orange and blue contrast each other, for example. But There's another way this word can be used, and that's in relation to how themes are portrayed in art. Now, when you think of somebody harming themselves, what do you think of? Probably sadness, pain, maybe dullness, maybe numbness, just overall things that are upsetting. Now, imagine an artist wanted to make a piece showing self-harm, but the person harming themselves was happy and there was bright, beautiful colors. That isn't the promotion of self-harm. It's literally just a form of artistic expression. It's contrast, guys. God, I agree so much with what Ponder said in her video about artists wanting to censor each other's art. It's so fucking ridiculous. Stop. I really enjoy putting contrast in my work. I also enjoy pastel colors. Why the fuck is it so bad for me to express myself artistically? Just because it makes you uncomfortable. I put trigger warnings on all my art. Just scroll. You don't need to be here. Okay, well, now you might be saying, well, the romanticization of gore is okay, I guess, but the sexualization of gore is bad, right? Well, I've got something to say about that too. Now, the sexualization of things like gore could be done out of some kind of gore fetish, which I want to be very clear about this. It is none of the internet's business if somebody has a specific fetish. A fetish being gross or weird does not excuse the internet shitting on somebody because they have a fetish. And if you think I'm excusing necrophilia here, which is something I actually got accused of many times, please learn the difference between a fetish and a paraphilia. Here's a guide. If it has philia at the end, it's not a fetish, and therefore I am not referring to it when speaking about this. There are a few other reasons why someone may express sexual themes in gory artwork. One reason is contrast. Yeah, same thing I was talking about earlier. Basically, replace cutesy with suggestive or sexual themes. This is why I portray suggestive themes in my gore art a lot of the time. Yeah, fun fact, guys, I don't have a gore fetish, despite what the fucking 12-year-old edgy boys who know nothing about me like to say. They don't know what fetishes are, and neither do a lot of the people who act like they know what fetishes are. Stop claiming the people have fetishes when they probably don't. Usually when somebody has a fetish, even if they're a minor, they usually are very open about it online. I'm just saying, there are a lot of accounts where minors talk about their fetishes, like, openly. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I am just saying, though, that somebody who is actively denying that they have a fetish probably doesn't have a fetish. I'm just saying. Not 100%, but, you know, it is just a pattern. If you see someone denying the fact that they have a specific fetish, they probably don't. I'm just saying. Another reason is shock value. Your gore will be a lot more shocking and gross if you add a sexual or masochistic factor to it. Want to know a great example of this?
Hello.
Yeah, this motherfucker. Salad Fingers is a great example of this. This series is littered with sexual masochism and gore, usually put together in some way. There is literally an episode where Salad Fingers is attracted to a dead dog. And you're telling me that this is supposed to be icky and bad? Come on now. Oh, but I guess since there's no cute pastel colors, I guess it's not actually bad, right? Ugh, this entire argument is stupid. This is literally David Firth sexualizing gore and dark themes. But nobody cares. But when I do it, apparently it's bad. Also, wouldn't you want to criticize the guy with like 1 million subscribers as opposed to the person with like 2K? Like, if you really cared about people being triggered by certain subjects or people being influenced into thinking that certain subjects are good, or, you know, just all that stuff in general, I feel like you'd probably want to go after the person who is the most influential and doesn't put trigger warnings on their works and touches on objectively more disturbing subjects and is older, and therefore if he's doing anything wrong, he would be more aware of what he was doing and wouldn't have as much of an excuse to be doing the shit he's doing. obviously that's, going by the logic that what he's doing is wrong, but, I'm not actually trying to say that David Firth's a bad guy here. I genuinely love his works. Bro, David Firth would laugh so hard if he knew that all these fucking kids were canceling artists over cutesy self-harm art. God, imagine what he would tweet about that. Like, imagine, like, the tweets he would make about that. That would be amazing. Well, we're at the end, and if this video didn't end up convincing you, I hope you like the drawings in the background. I hope you like them. I hope that this video was, better for getting my point across than my last video. I will be linking my last video in the description for those who are curious or want to just kind of look at it. But this video is the more improved one in my opinion. I think that this one is a lot better and goes more into depth and is better explained. And the scripting's better, and the script reading is better, even though I do have, laryngitis and all that, so my voice isn't that good to listen to. I am getting better at script reading. I am less robotic, I guess, but I'm sure you can tell when I am on script and when I'm off script, because I literally cannot make a video without going off script at any point in the video. Like, it's unnatural for me to fucking make a video without, like, putting in my current, like, live input to it, I feel like that's kind of what makes an MG video an MG video. I feel like it's kind of, but maybe that's just me, but I feel like the videos are better when there's, like, bits of, like, unscripted bits in it of, like, adding things or making a joke, because I'm not good at making jokes in a script. I'm not a good writer. I can't write. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm glad I was able to read the script better than I did, because I scripted my last video on this, and it was not good. You could very obviously tell it was scripted. When in this video, I'm sure, you could probably tell that it's scripted. Obviously, I've told you and all that, and I've implied it many times in the video, but, like, if you just, like, heard the way I was speaking, you'd probably tell it was scripted, but, I think it's better. I think the way I, articulated myself was better. Also, with scripted videos, what's cool about them is that with scripted videos, they're gonna be shorter because I'm rambling less, and obviously I'm adding a bunch to this video by, making a little outro that is not scripted, but that's fine because I scripted most of this video, so fuck you, let me say what I want to say. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this. The only reason why this video was scripted is because I had severe laryngitis to the point where I could not say words. I literally would try to, and the video I posted on my alt account, my alt YouTube account, on my other account, I posted a video showing how, like, the first part of the video is me whispering, because that's the only, like, form of communication I could do, and then I, like, spoke, and, like, I literally could, like, barely, it sounded like this, pretty much. Like, you can listen to it. My other account is linked in the description, as it usually is, and it's also linked in my card. So, if you watch that video, like, it got worse from there, to the point where I couldn't even, like, you could not tell what I was saying. Like, it got worse from there, and now it's gotten better, and I can say stuff. And I'm sure that it's gonna get worse after this video because I had to talk a bunch. But I promise I will rest my voice after this. I should be able to, like, go back to school and shit, because I've been out of school for a while because I had a terrible cold. Oh my god, I'm coughing. You get one cough in this video. I'm sorry. That this is the only cough you'll get, probably, maybe, I don't know. I'm not gonna promise you anything. Yeah, so basically, I've been doing okay. A lot of people have been worried about me because I'm sick. I'm getting better. Most of my symptoms when it comes to like, being sick have gone away other than the laryngitis, and also I believe I have tonsillitis on the left side because I have a earache on the left side and the left side of my throat hurts, which is a sign of tonsillitis. So I think I have tonsillitis and laryngitis. I've got all the itises, guys. Oh my god. So yeah, the tonsillitis isn't that bad. I think it's actually going away. It's nothing like severe. It's just like, throat hurt and then, earache. And it's all going away, which, tonsillitis is a symptom of like colds and stuff. So this all was caused from a cold and then me trying to strain my voice while I was on that cold on a Discord call, and then I got the severe laryngitis. That's like I think I had like little laryngitis. Like it was a little swollen. Those vocal cords were just a little swollen, and then I pushed them, and then they were like imagine like a balloon just going. That's like in like an airbag. That's probably what fucking happened in my sleep. Like I went to sleep, I woke up and I couldn't fucking talk. Oh my god, it was terrible. Bro, my sickness was so bad. It's like the worst cold I've had in a long time. It's actually the second time I think I've had to go to the doctor for an issue. First time was when I was in an ambulance, had to go to the hospital because I had such a bad like flu that I was like throwing up. I was like dehydrated. I was barely like able to function, literally. This is when I was really young. Well, I'm just like ranting. Wow, you guys. I know you guys probably don't like it when I talk like when I like go on unrelated rants. But you know what? I had to script this entire fucking video so you guys get a long end rant. This is the end of the video, so if you don't want me to talk about like my life and shit, like you can leave. The video's over. But yeah, the sickness was fucking terrible. Oh my god, it still is, but it's definitely better. It's to the point where, I can talk. The only symptom I'm having is a little bit of congestion, and then like, the left side tonsillitis. And it's just like little tonsillitis. It's nothing insane. Just like when I swallow, it hurts a little bit and it'll like hurt my ear a little bit. It's nothing insane. It's not. I actually did get my ears checked. I got my ears checked. I think they just do it to everyone. I don't know, because like we were not complaining of. I actually did not complain of ear pain when I went to the doctor, but the doctor just like was like just checking in my ears, and I was like, okay. Do your thing, dude. But he didn't say anything about an infection, which is good. I don't know if you can get ear infections from tonsillitis. I don't know if the earaches are like in the ear or if they're like outside the ear. I don't know. I don't fucking know. That's something I'd have to ask a doctor or Google. But yeah, I've added like 10 minutes to this video. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.